Our total lunar stay time is planned for 73 hours, which is obviously a little more than 3 days, which is longer than any other flight has either planned or been on the lunar surface. This includes 3 7-hour EVAs, plus or minus around 7 hours, depending upon how our oxygen and how our water and consumables go while we're on the lunar surface itself. The first EVA will be, for the most part, in and around the lunar module, where we get the majority of our scientific equipment deployed, our lunar LSEP package deployed. And of course we have to unpack the lunar rover, and it's a very big housekeeping EVA where we have to get all of our equipment out of the descent stage of the lunar module, get the rover in operational condition. We have to load the rover all up with all our tools and all our radios and all the scientific gear, and then spend about the next 3 to 4 hours on the LSEP package, which is this scientific package, deploying it, setting up the nuclear power generator, which keeps it running and what have you. The last hour and a half or so will be strictly on field geology in and around an area of about 2 kilometers or a little less than 2 miles from the lunar module. The second EVA will be a 7-hour EVA also, and its primary purpose is to go to the furthest point, almost 8 kilometers away from the lunar module, up against the base of some very high mountains to the south and to the west, and over and above a cliff that we think we can negotiate with the rover that's some 300 feet high. This is a primary objective of that lunar module EVA, and during this period of time, of course, we have some scientific equipment which we still are in the process of deploying that has to be deployed at further distances from the lunar module. EVA 3 again is 7 hours. It's built around going in the opposite direction to strictly work on geology, to go to an area where we think we can uncover some of the additional secrets, if you will, some of the different types of materials that are exposed at the site of Taurus Littrow. Now, you got to remember, a great deal of this 7 hours on each EVA is eaten up by what we call overhead. You have to get out of the lunar module, have to go through a loading process on the lunar rover and get the new gear out, and when you come back in, you have to again sort of do a great deal of housekeeping outside the lunar module as concerns your lunar rover and the other material you're going to be working with. The lunar rover I consider a must for our mission. We can certainly accomplish a great deal without it, but we're going to be limited to just a few kilometers distance from the lunar module. Obviously won't be able to get to some of our major geologic objectives at the site of Taurus Littrow. As I say, we can accomplish a lot, but not nearly what we can accomplish if we do have the rover. We will be going further than away from the lunar module than any other flight, for no other reason but that the geologic requirements as such are there to go to these places to get the information. As compared to Apollo 14, which was the last flight without a lunar rover, the crew spent several hours just walking to get to one major crater, and then they got so tired walking uphill, and they got there, they accomplished their goal, but they had to pass over many of their other goals because of the time consumed just walking from place to place. The lunar rover is sort of an order of magnitude. It's a whole different world in terms of your capability to go places and get things done in a minimal amount of time.
Henry Ford would have been proud, wouldn't he? Henry Ford?
Besides that, it's a super little machine.
How about your television plans for this mission? Are they about the same as before? What are your plans?
Well, we plan to televise the transposition and docking. That's after we leave Earth orbit on our way to the moon. The trouble is, being a night launch, that transposition and docking comes about 1 o'clock in the morning for most people, and it's been seen before. We're doing it from the standpoint of interest, and also, of course, from the standpoint of engineering in case we have any problems. The majority, and probably the most interesting part of our televised activities, are going to be on the lunar surface. And fortunately, it works out that most of you who have an interest in the program, who share the excitement that we share and the accomplishments and the challenge and satisfaction of it all, don't have to stay up all night to watch it. I think the EVAs turn out to be about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and run for 7 hours into the evening for 3 consecutive days. The only problem, of course, one of them is on a Monday night, and I'm sure that the Monday night football game is going to give us a challenge for prime time. Let me just say that I think every crew, because of the way they get involved on it, feels a tremendous sense of responsibility. Well, because of the responsibility that's been given them, not just simply the opportunity, but you know, it's a big thing when someone puts a spacecraft in your hands and puts a lot of faith in you to do a job that is not meaningful just on a small scale, but it's meaningful on a large, on a worldwide scale. The responsibility, for instance, of Neil Armstrong when he stepped on the surface of the moon was the responsibility he had not just to himself but to his country. Because the whole world was listening, and of course that moment, that episode, that accomplishment in itself probably meant as much to this country, certainly in the last decade, than anything else has meant in terms of pride and prestige and respect that he gained through the program, through his efforts, not as certainly as an individual, but he was put in that spot, than anything else that I can ever remember in my lifetime. And I think we all look at the flights that way. Apollo 17 is no different. I personally look at it from the standpoint of being commander of the flight as having a little bit of an extra responsibility, because it's something that I cherish very deeply. It's a responsibility to Jack, and it's a responsibility to Ron, but it's a responsibility to the people that had faith to give me this opportunity to do a job. One step further, I think, because Apollo 17 is the final Apollo flight, because the theme of our patch, the theme of our mission is that this isn't the end. This is, you know, we've just begun to crawl with the Apollo program as mankind. We're just now hoping that we can learn to begin to walk and then press on to the future. And Apollo 17 is sort of an opportunity, I think, to remind not just our country but the world that this is a position that mankind is in today. It's not just the end. We're not putting our rockets in the barn and closing the doors. We're just beginning to understand and accept the challenges that this universe has for us. And I'm not speaking in terms of way out. I'm thinking in terms of things that really affect you. Apollo 17 has that responsibility. I think it has. We want to express a feeling to the people who made it possible, that they've done a great thing for this nation and for the world, and let them know that it's not the end, but it truly is a beginning.